These coins are rare and worth up to $95 because of what's on the back of the coin. Let's have a look. It's the changeover coin. So 2016, this coin was produced for circulation. They only made 560,000. Let's check it on the list right here. So 560,000 made. $20 to $95 is a recently sold price range on those coins. So there it is. So changeover coin. And what it was, it celebrated the 60th anniversary since the 50th anniversary since the changeover from pre-decimal coins to decimal coins. So pennies and half pennies pre-decimal coins, which were before 1966, and then we came in with decimal currency in 1966, and this is 50 years after. So this commemorates that 50-year anniversary. So the $1 coin 2016 with this image on the back. So keep your eye out for that. I found this in my change and all the other ones I've got down here, and I've got a little pile on my desk too. So keep your eye out for it. We've got a bag of coins I'm going to search through here, and if you want those coin value lists, they're available through the link in my account by clicking my profile picture and the link below the Australian flag. Hopefully you've been having a great day and things are going well. Let's see if we can find something cool to add to the collection right now. Let's go. This one's pretty fresh. Maybe a 2022. 2024, King Charles. So recent selling prices on these, $2.20 to $6. I've got a fair few of these, so I wonder if the mintage figures are going to go higher, because the mintage figures can change in about a 3-year period. So currently sitting at 4.6 million on the 6 million coins minted, but it could go higher. These coins, you look for a little bit of extra metal across the top of the hat. They made a lot of this design, but with the extra metal, there wasn't many of those. That's an error if you can find that. So if you can find the extra metal, $8 to $19.50. Might get in a little bit closer so we can see details, because you can get little blobs of metal, which are errors on the coins. All right, let's get a few more going. This is a 2016, and it's just the standard design, so that this is the different version, I suppose, with just the Queen's head instead of the commemorative design right there. So they did make a lot of this design here, this particular one with the normal Queen's head one, and some of these did have errors on them, so it's worth having a bit of a look. Here of the Outback, made a fair few of those. That one's in pretty good condition. I'll just put it aside because any coin in good condition is worth holding on to. All right, we're probably over halfway, about a third of or 2/3 of the way through. There's a fresh one coming up about 2 or 3 deep. $2022 Kangaroos. Pretty fresh, isn't it? I'll just check the list to see if it's on the list. 2022 Mob of Roos, $2.20 to $10 is a recent selling price range on those. Cool. The Volunteers coin from 2003. Let's check it on the list. Here we go. $2 to $28. So if they're in really good condition, one sold for $28 recently, so I'll put that aside. And last one, a 2010 Girl Guides coin. They made a lot of these, so I tend to let them go, especially if they're in pretty worn condition like this one. But good luck with your searches. Hopefully you find some cool coins. The coat of arms, Australia style. We've got a kangaroo, emu, 50-cent coins. That's looking pretty fresh. Got a whole roll of them. There's $10 worth in here. So we're going to jump into this and see if we can find something that we need to be looking for extra value, because some of these 50-cent coins can be worth a lot more than just 50 cents. So I enjoy searching through them and checking, and you could have something really valuable too. So it is quite handy knowing. Here we go. Let's do this. Move the bag down to position, move the pickup stick to the side, and away we go. A little pointer there. Here we go, 50-cent coins. Plenty of things to look for on the 50s. A really enjoyable sort of search. Now, this is a 1980. You can get a thing called a double bar. So behind the emu's head, you can get 2 little lines of metal coming in. This one doesn't have it, so we'll keep on going. But extra value if you can find those 2 extra bits of metal on those. you can get a bit of extra doubling down the back of this kangaroo. So little jagged bits up through here, and it's called a Roozilla or a Godzilla if it's got that extra metal with the jagged bits. What's the price on those? $2.50 to $8.50 is a recent selling price range on the Roozilla. Nice. I like the names. Pretty worn, pretty beat up, that one. Probably been on a road somewhere. Oh, 2010, you check these for rotation. So you hold it at the top and the bottom, and you turn it around, and the Queen's nose is, supposed to be pointing to 3 o'clock on the coin like this. But sometimes in these 2010 50-cent coins, the nose is pointing in a different direction, and it adds extra value. So what have we got price-wise on the rotation 2010s? Just finding it. There it is. $40 to $125 if you can find a rotation. So when you turn it around and the nose is pointing over there like that, extra value. That one didn't have it, so... Ooh, this one's pretty fresh for a 1976. It does have a little spot there that I'm not sure what that is. But that's pretty fresh. I might just put that aside. Any coin in really nice conditions worth holding on to. Focusing on the dates. Quiet. Ooh, that's yucky. Try not to touch that one. And last coin right here. Let's guess the year. I'm going to guess somewhere in the 70s. It does look pretty dated, although maybe 80s. I'll go 74. 71. So there we go. 71 on that one. So just one keeper I've put aside from this roll. A pretty fresh looking 1976 for a coin from that age. Cool. Some coins are made with mistakes, which makes them worth a lot more to coin collectors. Up to $150 each for these coins. Rotation errors on this particular coin. So we'll jump in and have a bit of a look from the Renix Australian pre-decimal and decimal coin errors book. So this is a good book, good reference book to find out the sorts of minting errors that can occur on coins, which makes them more valuable to coin collectors. So this publication, I've got a link to this publication on my link tree. It's about the 13th or 14th option down on my link tree through the link in my account if you want to pick this book up from the Renix website. So that's where they sell them. And it's a good guide, but we'll jump straight into it. So we'll go straight to the page that I'm referring to. And it's the upset dies on the 2001 $1 coins. So I'll grab what it's supposed to look like. So this coin right here, we'll zoom right in. So the Centenary of Federation $1 coin. And what's supposed to happen when you hold the coin at the top and the bottom with everything up right here, when you turn it around, the Queen's nose is supposed to be pointing straight across to 3 o'clock. So you see the point of the nose right there, pointing to about 3 o'clock on the clock. So that's the way that it's supposed to be on all of the Queen's head coins. Now, what happened with these? It's called rotation or rotated coins or upset dies. So the die is the thing that strikes the detail onto the coin. So strikes the detail on this side and then also strikes the detail on this side. So what happened? One of the locking pins can shear off, can break off, and it can cause the die to sort of rotate around and punch the detail into the coin in a different direction. So it can happen on different years, but it's known more on particular years. So this one here, the 2001 $1 coins, it can face in different directions. So look at this one right here. So it says 1 here. So when I turn this coin around, the Queen's nose will be pointing to about 1 o'clock. So up there to 1 o'clock. This one right here, this one says 5, so when I rotate this one around, it points to about 5 o'clock on the clock. And what people like to do, they like to try and collect each hour of the clock for these coins. Now, it can get a little bit expensive because a recent selling price range on them, like I mentioned before, down here on the coin value list I've got. So the coin value list, most people probably know about it now, but on the coin value list available through the link in my account that I've researched all the recently selling prices, $45 to $150 is a recent selling price range on those coins, what they've sold for recently. So if you want that list, you can get that list right there, but that's how much they cost. And I've been grabbing a few every now and then to try and get my clock of directions that they face. So this is where I'm at. I'll show you. So I'll move the book aside and I'll show you what I'm up to right now. And I've actually just purchased a couple more that will be coming in the mail. So here we go. I've got 1 o'clock. I think we saw this one just a moment ago, didn't we? So 1 o'clock facing up there. I've got well, 3 o'clock is what everyone will have in their chain. So whenever you see this coin in your chains, this is where it's supposed to be. And I'm lucky that this one's in really nice condition. So there we go. We've got the 3 o'clock. What else have I got? I've got 5 o'clock. We've got 10 o'clock. Just try and get the right zoom, but 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock. And what's handy is some people do it in different ways, where they sort of try to advertise the direction. They say 90 degrees and all these sorts of things. So it can get a little bit confusing when you see people selling them. And that's why I like to try and use this method of putting it into a holder like this, which holds the coin so that everything's lined up the way it should be. So everything's upright and even. And when you turn it around, you can clearly see what direction the nose of the queen. Now, some people don't even use the nose of the queen as the reference point, but I think it's a good option because it's a point. It's a point that sort of points out and it can sort of point to a point on the clock. Whereas some people just use the top of the coin, but there's nothing really to reference to make sure it's, like pointing in a particular direction. Because also in that book right there, it references that people try to collect the half hours as well, because the actual mistake is not pointing to particular hours of the clock. It can point to sort of in between as well. So this one here, I've sort of marked this at about 11:30, and how I've done that is I've sort of referenced it against other ones. So where's my 11 o'clock? So if I get my 11 o'clock at the top here, and I put it so that it's sort of right on top of each other. So 11 o'clock, it's sort of pointing on a diagonal like that, whereas this one's pointing more of a sharper incline. So I'm gone 11:30 on that one. I've also got one here that I've sort of put down as 11:45. So if I check this one against the 11:30, it'd be at a sharper angle. Just try and make sure it's all sort of even. So that one's about there, and this one's even closer to 12 o'clock, so 11:45. And it sort of references in that book that some people try to collect the quarter hours as well. So I wasn't aiming for it. I was just trying to aim for 1 hour intervals, so one for each hour. But when you buy them online, it's hard to know exactly what you're getting until you actually get them and put them into a holder. So it is what it is, but it's handy if you just use the nose as a reference guide. But yeah, these coins are really cool. I love them. I reckon it's really interesting, and lots of other people do too. But if you're interested in knowing more about error coins, the book here, it's good to describe different sorts of errors that you can find in the minting process. It has pictures of some of those coins. It doesn't have pictures of every coin. And the reason for that is that you can pretty much get an error on any coin in any location. So the book would be endless of pictures of all sorts of different errors. So it's more about describing the sorts of errors that you can find. And you can see here I've got lots of markings of different pages, sticky notes that I sort of refer to just to check on errors, because I personally get lots of questions, which is totally understandable, because when you're starting out, you're not too sure. And even myself, I refer to this book, I open it up and have a bit of a look just to sort of read descriptions to see which category it sort of fits into. If there's a coin that's got something that's a bit unusual on it, to try and place what sort of error it is, and then you can sort of go from there. But this book's available through the link in my account to the Rennick site where you can pick it up. But yeah, the coin value list, if you're after the most recent selling price ranges of coins, coin value lists are linked through there too. But the error coins rotations, I reckon they're really cool. I'm trying to collect the whole clock set, and I'm getting a little bit closer. I'm still missing a few more hours on the clock. That's my main goal, and then who knows, I might go into the half hours and quarter hours like I've sort of got here, but that wasn't my initial intention. But good luck with your searches. Now, I suppose one thing I will say, these coins, it's sort of said in the book there about the pin sort of shearing off, which can cause this error. Some years are sort of known for it, and the 2001 $1 coins are quite well known for that, so that's a good way of knowing what to look for. But there are some other years that can have rotation errors too. So mainly the 2001 $1 coin, but there's lots of different years it can happen on, but this is probably the most common for decimal coins to keep an eye out for. But good luck with your searches. Hopefully you find a few to add to your collection, and Let me know how you go. Yes, now 1997 is a good year on 50-cent coins to keep your eye out for. $1.80 to $22 is a recently selling price range on those 50-cent coins. They made 4.3 million, which is in the rare range for circulating coins. So anything under 5 million is considered rare for circulating coins in Australia. So these ones are worth keeping an eye out for. 1997. Woo, we've got a roll right here. Going to search through this lot, see if we can find a 1997 or anything else from the list right there, because yeah, they're worth a bit more. Add it to the collection. Good luck with your searches. Hopefully you're going well with your collections, and hopefully you find something really cool and really valuable. That's awesome. All right, let's go. This one, what's this? A 2022. They made a lot of the 2022 50-cent coins, so we'll let that one drop into the bag, and we'll continue with the rest. Let's go. Bit of zoom in here, get some detail. Ooh, we'll check this one for the on the back of the kangaroo. You can get a little bit of extra metal down the back of the kangaroo, bit of doubling through here. Roozilla, love a Roozilla. What do we got price wise on that? If we can find a Roozilla, $2.50 to $8.50 if you can find extra metal on the back of that kangaroo. Now these ones here, this is 79, and 79s can get a thing called a double bar. So behind the emu's head, you can get two little lines of metal. This one doesn't have it, so we'll zoom back out and continue on. A couple of coins in pretty rough shape right there, but oh, nice fresh one straight away. Here we go. This one's a keeper. The changeover coin from 2016, 50 years. 50 years since we started with decimal currency. So 966 we started with decimal currency, and this was the 50-year anniversary in 2016. So prices on these, $1.50 to $10 is a recent selling price range on those. That's cool. What year is that one? 2022 again. Oh, 2014. We'll check for a crop circle. In this little void right here, you can get a little circle feature on some of those 2014s, but not on that one. 2022, look for the Roozilla. No Roozilla. Continue on. 2010, check it for rotations. Hold it at the top and the bottom. Spin it around. Not rotated, unfortunately. Continue on. Oh, this one's in pretty fresh condition. This will be a Charles and Diana coin. Oh, no, it won't. It's the standard issue coin. So they made a commemorative coin, the Charles and Diana, but this one's in really fresh condition. Look at that. That is very nice. So I'll definitely be holding on to that one. Is a slight scratch on the cheek of the coin, but apart from that, that is very nice. I like it. Find of the day so far. 80. We'll check for a double bar on the 1980. So behind the emu's head, no. 2008. Last coin, 75. So we had 3 coins we put aside right there. Oh, actually, 2 coins. The first one was the start of the video. 1997 was a bit of a focus. But we found this one right here, the changeover coin. They are very cool, good to look for. But any coin in really nice condition is worth holding on to, and I appreciate that. For a coin of that age, that might have been in someone's collection, and maybe recently it's been spent and put into circulation, and that's really nice. So I'll be holding on to it and cherishing it. Cool. Yes, now 2014 is a good year to keep your eye out for on the $1 coins if it's got the kangaroos on it. $2.30 to $20 is a recent selling price range on those. They only made 1 million that particular year in the Mob of Roos. So 2014 Mob of Roos, keep your eye out for these ones right there. So that's pretty cool. I'll keep that aside. I've got a roll of $1 coins. There's $20 worth in this lot. So we'll get into this. We'll see if we can find something cool. And good luck with your searches. If you've got some coins to search through, hopefully you find some cool things that are worth a bit of money, but more importantly, that interest you, that you can add to your collection. So here we go. Let's jump in here. See if we've got something interesting. Nothing really shiny sort of coming through. So we'll just check the years, check the designs, see if there's any errors in detail and stuff like that. They made a lot of these Peace, International Year of Peace coins, so I'll let those go unless they're in really good condition. Made a lot of the Outback coins. This one here. (2019). So these 2019s can have a few different things, but you can get some letters underneath the large kangaroo. An A, a U, or an S stands for Oz, and they were to commemorate what was it, 35 years since Australia started producing $1 coins. So if they've got a letter under the kangaroo, they'll have a little 35 in this little void over here. So for 35 years, yep, that can appear on the 2019 coins. 2015, we look for a missing leg over here under this kangaroo. The leg that goes under the belly, see that leg there? So sometimes that's totally missing. So if you can find that one with the missing leg totally, $3 to $7. Look for a bit of extra metal across the top of the hat on this coin. So just check the lists here. So what do we got? $8 to $19.50. If you can find that extra bit of metal across the top of the hat. Not Weary, Sir Henry. Checking for rotations. Sometimes I've heard people say that they've found rotations on these coins. Now that one, unfortunately, is not rotated. So continue on. You can get a bit of extra metal through these grooves. That might just have a little bit. I don't know if it's a bit of damage, but it is sort of catching a little bit through that section there. The coin's not in great condition, so I'll let it go anyway. These ones here can get a little bit of extra metal through the grooves in these sort of locations. And they did make some of these for non-circulating coins, collector coins, and they'll have a little mint mark down here. So different letters of the alphabet that could appear down here. 2 coins to go. That one's pretty worn. I don't know where that one's been. Last coin. Ooh, 2014. Will this be the one that we started the video with the kangaroos? Oh, this is a good segue, I suppose. So the Anzac coins, they made a lot of this design in 2014. Over 22 million of this particular one. And they only made 1 million of the kangaroos design. So that is why the kangaroos design's worth a fair bit. But the Anzac coin in 2014 isn't worth that much. But the Anzac coins, they made them on over 5 years, so 14, 15, 16, and 17 and 18. So if you find any year that's not the 2014, they didn't make many of those particular years of this design, the Anzac design. So keep your eye out for those. I love this book to get an idea on values for banknotes. The Renix Australian Coin and Banknote Values book. I've got a link to it on my link tree. It's the 12th option down if you want to pick this book up from the Renix website. And I use this book a lot for the banknotes. So there's tons of information in here, but here are the decimal banknotes, starting with the $1 notes. And all of these values, these are all numbers for the values of these $1 notes, depending on the condition, but also particular features. So this book steps you through it, the pages before and the condition grading. So these are all the descriptions that meet the different condition gradings that are up through here. And of course, anything that's in uncirculated conditions, so the UNC is uncirculated, some of them can be very, very valuable, which is quite handy if you've got some. But yeah, all of these. So these are the $1 notes, the $2 notes, the $5 notes, and it also comes into the polymer notes, the plastic notes that we use in today's day and age too. So some of those can be quite rare and valuable as well. So the ones that you might use in your change. And yeah, so the $10 notes, modern ones, 20s, into the 50s, and of course the hundreds as well. And who remembers the good old grey ghost or the grey nurse? Some people refer to these $100 notes as that. And then of course into the polymer notes, the $100 notes there. But there's so many values that these can hold depending on the type of notes you got. And I find it really interesting, and it's a very handy book to have. And that's what I tend to use it mostly for, this book, but there's tons of information in here. Maybe I'll do videos covering all the different things that are in this book. But if you're after some of those banknotes, those I really like the paper banknotes because you don't see them much these days. And if you're after some of those, I've got some in that you can purchase from me. So maybe if you email me at coincollectinganddetecting@gmail.com, and then I can shoot you through a list of what I've currently got available to pick up. But very good to add to the collection. And yes, this book is very handy to get a bit of an idea on value. Yes, up to $40 for these particular coins, and it's because of this year, 1985. They didn't make many, so $12.50 to $40 each is a recently sold price range for just these standard issue coins, the coat of arms, 1985. Let's zoom out a little bit and check the details. They only made 1 million of them in 1985, the standard issue coins. There we go. And that's what makes them worth a lot more to coin collectors, because they're very hard to find. I found it yesterday. I was very lucky to find it. I haven't got very many, so I'm very thankful for it. I do have another roll. I'm going to search through this one, see if we can find something else like that we can add to the collection that's from the coin value lists. And if you're after those coin value lists, they're available through the link in my account by clicking my profile picture and the link below the Australian flags. Let's see what we have got. We'll get a bag into position. We'll make sure we don't lose that 85 because we don't want to. Here we go. Cool. Hopefully you're having a great day and things are going well for you. Let's see if we can add something else. What's that? 84. 84. I thought it might have been a 74 because 74 is worth holding on to. This one here, you can get a little bit of doubling down the back of the kangaroo. It's called a Roozilla, like a Godzilla. Bit of an error. And if you can find that, recent selling price range on those, $2.50 to $8.50. Oh, here we go. 2019. They had two different designs of the Queen in 2019. So they changed over to a newer image of the Queen, more representative of her appearance at that point in time. So this one's with the necklace on the Queen. So I'll just check the list here. $2 to $10. So this one's referred to as a JC on the shoulder of the Queen. There's a little JC. That's Jodie Clark, the designer of this image. The previous image of the Queen is an IRB, so Ian ranked broadly with that design. So both of them are worth holding on to. They're both the 2019. They're both low mintage. Check for a blob down here and a blob on the helmet on those particular coins. That one didn't have it. Ooh, a few big gouges. That's not a minting error. That's just damage while it's been in circulation. So continue on. 2017, that's a lower mintage coin. What do we got mintage-wise? I'll just check the sheet right here. So 8.2 million. So anything under 10 million is considered scarce. Between the 5 and 10 million mintage is considered scarce. $1.75 to $9 is a recent selling price range on these particular coins. So there we go. Put it aside. $19.80, we'll check for a double bar behind the emu's head. And I think it does have it, so we'll zoom in. It's a bit hard to sort of pick it up. Just try and get the right light. There is a little bit of a line at the top there. So while we're looking up, just try and get the right. So just behind the emu's head, there's a little line there and there's a little line at the top. It's a bit hard to make out with this zoom. But the coin's not in that great a condition. Yeah, you can see there near the date. But selling prices on these, $4 to $35 is a recent selling price range. I'll put it aside for now, but I do have a fair few in better condition than that, so I'll probably just let that one go. That's the last coin of the roll, but fine of the roll for this one, maybe the 2019 JC image of the Queen. Nice.